What's up everybody, and welcome to the finale of the Lifebringer Saga. In this video, we're going to be looking at the latest installment of the Spartan legacy, Hyborean. This one gets a video to itself because it's the longest series by far. Before we get into the video, if you guys could leave a like and subscribe, I would greatly appreciate it. The goal is to get the channel to 400 subs by the end of March, and I believe we can accomplish that. Now let's go ahead and get into this. It's been nearly a year after the Brotherhood War, and Phoenix team is finally ready to make their move and rescue Nyla. She is being held in a fortress in a Spartan-occupied area of the city. Why she was moved there is a mystery to them, but they can't pass up on this opportunity. The plan is for Phoenix team to go on foot to reach the compound, while Mark is jammed to Centaurian's comms to provide air support. This place is heavily fortified. You got Hyboreans, Centaurian gunships. It wasn't easy to get to Nyla, but they managed to free her. She doesn't believe that Zack is there to save her, which I understand. He is the reason she got locked up again, but she loosens up when Marcus comes in. A lot has changed in the last year, with the UNSC and Reformers working together that is. Perspectives have changed. They need to hurry up and get out of the compound, but look who shows up. Zack knows they might lose in a stand-up fight, so he tells Marcus to get Nyla to safety and call a ride to pick them up, while they keep Corsair occupied. Logan has his reservations about it. He doesn't trust Marcus fully, but this is their best chance. One thing that I noticed about most of the Spartans is that it seems like Lifebringer has brought the worst out of their personalities. I say this mainly because of Chen. I like Chen for her forward way of doing things. She's a blow things up to solve a problem kind of chick. But under the Lifebringer's influence, she's a bloodthirsty psychopath. Even Scott has to reel her in at times.
Let me at him! I'll rip him apart!
Like girl, if you don't chill out. But anyway, the team decides to take the Warthogs to keep Corsair at bay. But they run into a dead end and it turns into a straight up fight anyway. But that gave Marcus enough time to secure their evac, but not before Hadley shoots a tracker on their ship. Ooh, yeah, that's going to come into play later. But first, you want to know who picked Phoenix team up? It was Zulu from Zulu Flight, and Al was there too. It was good to see that they survived long enough to start the counterattack. Logan apologizes to Marcus for earlier, and Nyla manages to put her hatred aside to fight their common enemy. Teresa is kind of pissed with Zack right now. Remember how I mentioned that Zack worrying about her safety was going to cause some tension between them? We finally come to that point. She's annoyed by Zack's overprotectiveness of her, but it's a bit deeper than that. She's fighting some insecurities right now. He's trying to figure out how to care for her, but not baby her at the same time. He vents to Guardian about it, and Guardian reassures him of things, but also gives him some good advice. In a relationship, things aren't always going to be perfect. There's always going to be some bumps in the road, but as long as you overcome them, you'll be fine in the end. That's some true shit right there. The fact that he does care is what's important, but shit is also about to pop off. The Spartans and Lifebringer have located Phoenix Nest, their home base, so they're about to pull up. But before that, the team is discussing how to deal with Lifebringer. Nyla brings up something that Lifebringer mentioned to her about the Spartans. She says that Lifebringer built in a cure, a backup solution, in case her neural override didn't work properly. It would disrupt the neuroreceptors and free the Spartans. However, there's a problem. It's back on Cradle. But Guardian has an idea. Lifebringer has put up multiple slip-space portals to bring in resources from Cradle. Since they're two-way portals, the team could use them to get there. The closest one is in Wenatchee, which is about a day away on foot. All of this is still in Washington, by the way. But Zack senses something's not right. They have insurance that the Lifebringer's bluffing, a solution to free the Spartans, and a way to get there. If Nyla knew all of this, why would Lifebringer have moved her from her headquarters? Simple, my friends. She was baked to get to Zack, and sure enough, the Spartans have pulled up at the base. Lifebringer usually doesn't leave her base, but she's here with them. Zack is the only person that could ruin her plans, so she's here to handle things personally. Phoenix needs to get the hell out of there. Marcus and the rest will fend off the Spartans while they make a break for it. However, Corsair's main target is Zack, so they're in hot pursuit. The mountain tunnels put some distance between them, but they have to keep moving. The Spartans have a hard time tracking down Phoenix because of the forest, so that's also helping to keep some distance. Phoenix make it to Wenatchee. They're searching the city, and to their surprise, there were signs that Marines were here recently, but they end up getting spotted by a gunship, and it knows that they're there, which alerts the Hyboreans. Zack manages to find a rocket launcher and he destroys the gunship. Soon after, the Marines show themselves, and look, it's a group of ODSTs. However, they freak out when they see Zack. Spartans are enemy number 1 right now, but they stand down once Sergeant McGarry shows up and lets them know that Zack can be trusted. Remember him from Brotherhood War? Glad to see he's still kicking. Back at Phoenix Nest, Yahweh fills Lifebringer in on the situation, and once he mentions some activity near Wenatchee, she decides to head that way. She most likely knows that's Zach, but more importantly, she doesn't want him getting near the portal there. Inside the Marine base, you'll notice that they got quite the setup. Logan asks why they didn't reach out to him, but McGarry explains that they destroyed their long-range transmitters to try and stay hidden. He mentions that he sent a soldier to try and evacuate civilians from Seattle a while back, which was Sergeant Knight, which ended horribly, but since then they've had no contact with anyone else. Guardian asks if they can help them find the portal in town, but lucky for them, the Marines have been monitoring it. Owens fills them in on the operation going on over there and what they would be facing, which is a lot of guards. Zach says that they need to get through to that portal, and McGarry tells him that if that's what they need, he'll make sure they get there. Back at Phoenix Nest, the Marines and the Reformists are holding in there, but they've been put into a corner, and because of that, they're starting to lose their trust in Marcus and Nyla, but Nyla manages to bring them back together. Say what you want about her, but she is a natural leader. Back at Wenatchee, Phoenix team and the Marines are about to start their assault. The plan is to have Guardian create some Spartan holograms to use as hostages and stall the guards. That gives the Marines enough time to get into position and destroy the transmitter, and with that out of the way, they can assault the base. During the fight, Teresa tries to help the Marines, but she gets wrecked by a Hydra missile. They manage to get control of the base and the portal, but Teresa is in bad shape. Owens comes in to help and he manages to stabilize her and get her back up to speed. This also helps him see that Zach is different from most Spartans. I mean, how often is it that a Spartan has a girlfriend? He goes in to try and check on Teresa, but you know Zach was going to bring up what happened, but she doesn't feel like talking about it right now. Zach gives her space, and as they're working on getting the portal up and running, Guardian notices some power fluctuations and sends Zach to check it out. He fixes the problem, but as he's about to leave, Lifebringer shows up behind him looking creepy as hell, by the way. Gunships arrive at the base, and now it's time to leave. Phoenix and Owens' group head through the portal while McGarry's group heads back to help Marcus. Meanwhile, back at Lifebringer HQ, Lifebringer is pissed that Zach was able to get back to Cradle, and she considers killing Corsair and let the Hyboreans handle the problem, but Scott convinces her to give them another chance. Meanwhile, Phoenix and the Marines made it to Cradle. They managed to land somewhere close to the cartographer, but they're still going to have to trek there. They need to reach it to disrupt the Lifebringer signal and free the Spartans. Guardian had to randomize their trajectories so the Lifebringer's forces couldn't follow them. Corsair makes it to Cradle too, and are prepared to head them off at the cartographer. Getting there isn't going to be easy for the group. They lost a few Marines in the mountains while fighting off some gunships. Owens' group had to fall back and draw the gunship's fire, but that allowed Phoenix team to press on. Back at Phoenix Nest, Marcus's group is losing people fast. Galloway sees this and gives them a chance to surrender, but McGarry shows up and makes the save. Back on Cradle, Phoenix can't reach Owens' group. They're either out of range or dead, but Guardian gets the idea to tap into Cradle's communication network using an uplink port, but there is a platoon of Hyboreans between them and the communications hub. They have some downtime while Guardian is tapping into the comm network, and Zach tells Teresa his plans if they win. Our boy wants to retire after all this. He wants to live his life the way he wants to. Logan warns him that retirement doesn't always work out for soldiers like them, but not many Spartans get to have that option either, so I admire that he's taking it. They managed to reach Owens, and all of his people made it. They'll meet up with Phoenix at the cartographer. Back at Phoenix Nest, the Marines and the Reformists managed to push back the Spartans, but they'll be back. McGarry lets everyone know that Phoenix made it to the portal, so now they need to hold out until they get back. They make their way to the cartographer, and it's quiet. Too quiet. Corsair laid the trap for them, and they got Phoenix surrounded, but Guardian had a trick up his sleeve. He manages to put a barrier up around them, which gives them some time to find where they need to go, which is the Vault of Light. Hadley disables the barrier and Corsair gives chase, but Phoenix manages to get away through a teleporter. Guardian also locked them out of the teleporter network. He was proud of himself for that one, but don't count Corsair out just yet. Galloway fills Lifebringer in on the situation at Phoenix Nest, but she's not worried about that too much. She's about to start the next phase of her plan, and in the back, you see a giant ass ship. This ship is her endgame. Phoenix gets to the Vault of Light, and Owens' group needs help dealing with the gunships. As soon as they get done with them and are about to go in the building, look who shows up. Hadley manages to teleport Corsair right to the front door. Owens and his team fight Corsair.
Finally. Blood!
Hell no, to the no, no, no.
They knew they weren't going to win, but that allowed Phoenix to pass through. After fighting through the Hyboreans guarding the temple, Guardian manages to activate the cure, and it works. Corsair snaps back to their old selves, but they also remember everything they did while they were under the Lifebringer's control. Hadley is freaking the hell out. He's horrified. and Scott passed out from the shock. It's a lot for them right now. After they pull themselves together, Scott reveals that the Lifebringer is planning something big, and they head back to Phoenix Nest to help out Marcus's group, and Guardian frees Galloway and the remaining Spartans. Everyone else goes off to get some rest and check on the wounded, and that just leaves Galloway, Logan, and Marcus. During Logan and Galloway's conversation, Logan begins to get suspicious when Galloway starts asking about the cure and Guardian's location. Logan asks him why he wanted to know, and that's when...
Logan! No!
He fatally wounds Logan, and Logan had a feeling that something wasn't right. He knew it. Marcus hears it happen and takes on Galloway. Turns out that our Spartan leader here was all for the Lifebringer's plan, at least what he knew about defeating the UNSC. Freeing him didn't change his mindset, it just allowed him to move of his own volition. He wanted the UNSC taken down just like the Reformists, but he took it to another level. The Reformists never wanted this for Earth. This is much worse than it was before. Marcus manages to kill him. He did it in the most awesome way possible.
You were never a real Spartan. And that's why you're gonna die now. Wait, no!
Logan's death was completely unexpected. No one ever expected Galloway's betrayal, but this has hurt Zach deeply. He's lost his mentor. He doubts whether he can lead the resistance. But Teresa is there to pick him back up and apologize for what happened at Wenatchee. Ever since she was rejected for the Spartan upgrades, she's been trying to prove that she can hang with a Spartan without them, and that led to her getting blown up. Zach's overprotectiveness was only feeding her insecurities, but she respects him for trying to tone it down a bit. She realizes that while she's not weak, she's not a Spartan, and she needs to understand her limits. But hey, she's still a badass in her own right. Everyone gets together and they discuss Lifebringer's ship. This ship is known as the Infinity. It was designed to be a trump card in the Second Human Covenant War, but budget cuts and resource transfers led to it being abandoned. That is until Lifebringer got her mitts on it. She's been working on finishing it under Spartan command ever since she took over as Manias. Ever since the coup, she's been gathering resources from Cradle to augment it with Forerunner technology to make it the ultimate warship, and she's launching soon. They have enough ODSTs and Spartans, and their equipment managed to survive the assault. If they're going to take down Lifebringer, this is the time to do it. The plan is to split into 3 groups. The Spartans will attack the military sector to get their attention and cut their resources. The Reformists will go to civilian areas and keep them safe, while Zach's group and the Marines fight the Spartan command. But before they head out, Zach gives arguably his greatest speech.
Marines, Reformists, Spartans, whoever you are, wherever you come from, I need your attention. You come from a dozen different planets, from all walks of life, and yet you all have one thing in common. Your lives were destroyed by the Lifebringer. Since then, our story has been one and the same. We've all suffered as Earth was crushed under her rule. Some of us lost our families. Others lost their minds. But against all odds, we've survived. And now we're here together, a melting pot of what humanity has to offer. We've had our past differences. Some of us may still not fully trust each other. But we only got this far by leaning on one another. By recognizing that no matter what planet we hail from, no matter what banner we fought under, we are united in our humanity. We've covered a lot of ground together. Discovered parts of ourselves that we didn't even know were there. We've rebuilt burnt bridges, found common ground in every step of the way. The Lifebringer has fought tooth and nail to make sure that it's all for nothing. And so far, she's been winning. But that stops today. If there was ever a time to dare again, it's now. Because we've rediscovered our hope. The Lifebringer doesn't know it yet, but she's about to get kicked right off her throne. We've got a way to strip her of her power and take her down for good. But it's our sweat and blood that'll make it happen. Look to your fellow men and women. They're counting on you to help fight through this darkness and get back to the light. And if there's one thing I know about us humans, it's that we fight best when we're fighting together. One final effort is all that remains, and that's all we need. The Lifebringer expects us to fail, but she doesn't know what it's like to fight for someone other than herself. She's all alone. We've got each other. When it looks like we may not win, think of your brothers and sisters fighting next to you. Remember those you've lost and those you yet need saving. They're counting on us, and we won't let them down. It's time for the reign of the Lifebringer to end. Time to take our freedom back. We're going to deliver our hope to the people that need it most. And that is something worth fighting for.
Now that's a true leader right there. The Spartans are having it rough. Everything that they did under the Lifebringer has created a stigma around them. Not many people trust them anymore, and you can't really blame them either, but all they can do is try and earn their trust back. The final battle of Seattle is on, but this could be also called the Battle for Earth. This is for all the marbles. Scott and Marcus's group complete their objectives, but Zach's group has the toughest route. They're heading straight up the middle, and that puts them in the thick of the fight. They are losing men fast. We lost Zoo and McGarry, y'all. Rest in peace, soldiers. At least y'all made it to the final battle. They're pinned down, but Marcus shows up and helps them push the enemy Spartans back. Lifebringer didn't take the bait with Corsair. The plan was good in theory, but distraction techniques weren't going to work here. One of her objectives is to take down Zach, so anywhere he was, that's where she was going to divert men to. She's close to achieving her goal anyway, so losing some troops isn't going to hurt her too much. Guardian radios Corsair, and Scott tells him that he found his special project, which is a Death Mantis. Improved shields, improved weaponry. It's so beautiful, and Zach gets the pleasure of driving it. With the Death Mantis, it gives them that extra push that they need to make it to Spartan Command. However, it still wasn't easy getting there. Lifebringer had the Spartans stationed outside her base, and even the Death Mantis didn't get them all the way there. But they managed to fight through the enemy Spartans and reach the base. Guardian starts uploading the cure, but...
Stop! Turn.
Corsair, what are you doing?
Exactly what they were created to do. Serving me.
Okay, y'all, this lady is a master tactician. Where to begin? Okay, so the cure did work, but it was temporary in a sense. It only disrupts the Lifebringer signal. The Spartans are still tied to Lifebringer through that neural interface she has installed in them. She can take control of them whenever she seems fit by pretty much asserting her will over them, which is what happened here. She with Phoenix Team rescued Nyla so that way she could pass on the stories of the cure to them. She with Corsair and the other Spartans believed they were free so that way they would help Zach reach Spartan Command. It was all an intricate plan to bring Zach to her, but this also shows how much she fears Zach as well. She knew she couldn't beat him straight up, so she had to trap him, and now with the Spartans in the city back under her control, the tables have turned. Guardian tries the Centurion trick on her again, but this time she sees it coming and shoots him. Now back in monitor form, she captures him so that way she can take him with her. She finally has Zach where she wants him, and then she shoots him.
No! Oh God, no!
Zach. No.
Corsair is getting ready to kill Marcus and Teresa, but Silva manages to take back control of her body and stops them, which gives them some time to escape. Zach isn't dead just yet, but he's close. On the horizon, he sees the Spartan force and he's reunited with Catherine. They tell him that there's still hope and his fight isn't over just yet. Lucky for him, Silva was able to patch him up enough to save him, but he's basically being held together by biofoam. Silva tells him that while she freed herself for the moment, she can still feel Lifebringer inside her head. This reminds me of how Lady Benezia freed herself in Mass Effect. It's only temporary. Eventually, the controlling party will take control again. She tries to shoot herself so that way she doesn't attack Zach once she turns, and she begs Zach to stop Lifebringer. She puts the gun to her head, but Zach manages to move the gun just enough so that way the shot isn't fatal. Zach radios into Teresa and he warns her there's an army of Spartans coming and they need to hide, but more importantly, he's going to settle things. He tells her that the Lifebringer must be stopped and that the only thought worse than never seeing her again is losing Teresa to the Lifebringer. He thanks her for making his life worth living again, and he tells her that he loves her. Marcus tells him that he got his back, and to finish this. This conversation was so emotional, and it shows how far Zach has come. He's found his own identity outside of just being a Spartan, and he's ready to sacrifice his life for Teresa and everyone else. Let's go, Zach. It's about time that somebody got their ass whooped. Zach's on his way, and Lifebringer can't believe it. She's beside herself.
How can he fall and fall again, yet he stands?
You can't even comprehend what drives him. And I feel sorry for you. It's love. Real love. For his people, for his family. The kind you lost the ability to understand a long time ago. See, the most dangerous person isn't the one with nothing to lose. They're the one who got it all back and won't lose it again.
Couldn't have said it better, Guardian. Zack makes it to the Infinity and cuts the power to his engines. Guardian led him there while he was talking to Lifebringer. Now that's how you multitask. This set up the final battle between Zack and Lifebringer. This fight was amazing, but the conversation before they start fighting is grade A too.
You have challenged my authority, and for what? A child race unfit to bear the mantle.
What I fight for you could never understand!
Love? I knew love. I loved my Hyboreans as only a mother could, and you slew them all.
You threw their lives away! That's not love!
They died fighting for the betterment of this galaxy.
This is when Lifebringer brings up the horrors of the cosmos to Zack, and she talks about it in an almost haunting way. What in the hell did she see in that transporter? Anyway, after some more back and forth, they get to it, and while Zack is giving it to her, she starts to overpower him, because remember, while he's moving, he's still severely injured. The fact that he's still moving is a miracle. Lifebringer starts beating him down slowly while taunting him, but when she starts talking about coming after his friends and ripping apart every man, woman, and child, he gets his second win and turns the tables on her. She's pissed him off now, and he's on that ass. Lifebringer's fear is showing entirely at this point. He beats her down and then grabs her shotgun and finishes her off. After a year in hiding, it's done. The Spartans that were after Marcus and Teresa come back too, and Anthony from Aftermath is among them, asking about his wife Carla. Damn, when he finds out...
How do we tell him?
Zack finished the fight, but he's barely clinging to life. All of that damage has finally caught up to him, but Marcus and Teresa get to him in time and stabilize him. He asks if everything is okay and for them to stay with him. Whoa, that boy was almost out of here. So many people have died. I'm just glad he survived that fight. It's 2 years later and things have gone back to normal for the most part. We see Scott and Silva heading to a meeting that Guardians arrange, but they notice the civilians staring at them. Things are still tense between the Spartans and the civilians. After everything that's happened, it's going to take a long time for the Spartans to be trusted again, if ever. At the Lovebirds apartment, well, newlyweds, Zack is on a video call with Marcus, who's on vacation. Zack has retired and is now a counselor in the same vein as Logan. He and Nyla are getting along for the most part, which is good. She's put forth some interesting ideas, but her heart is still in the right place. She's still for the people. Marcus asks him if he misses the military life, but Zack says he doesn't. While civilian life is different, it's peaceful. He has to head out though. He and Teresa are meeting Guardian at the UCA building. Since the UNSC and the UEG are no more, those powers, along with the Reformation, merged into the Unified Colonial Administration. The two meet up with Nyla, Guardian, and Corsair. They catch up and Guardian reveals why he called this meeting. He wanted to keep it between those he could trust. He spent some time looking through the Lifebringer's files from the Infinity, and he found out where she was heading. She marked the destination in the ship's star map to something called the IXKA anomaly, which is all the way on the other side of the galaxy. Everything from the Spartan 5s to the Infinity. It was all to get to this location, to deal with the horrors of the cosmos. Whatever is out there had her scared, and it's something to be taken seriously. The next course of action would be to go check it out, but the new administration is too new to allocate resources to take on this anomaly. That's when Zack says the Spartan 5s will go check it out. It was their original purpose after all, and since the stigma surrounding them still lingers, they might as well go and do some good. When Hadley said that his family won't even look him in the eye, that had me thinking like, damn, I know what he did was horrible, but it wasn't his fault. You would think that your family would be more understanding about it, but I guess not. Scott is promoted to Spartan Master, so he'll coordinate the Spartans for the mission, and since he's now Spartan Master, Scott promotes Silva to Corsair Leader. She doesn't think she's fit to lead, but she definitely is. She kept fighting the Lifebringer's influence the entire time, and she was able to break free and save Zack from her teammates. She has the will of a Spartan. Zack gives her a pep talk and she responds well. If the Spartans are going to go through with this, that means that Guardian has to go with them. They're probably going to run into some Forerunner tech and he has to help fly the ship. Zack tells Guardian that he's been the best friend that he's ever had and that he's going to miss him. Zack and Teresa see them off and the Spartan 5s and Guardian head off to start the next adventure. Wow, what a way to end things. I want the Lifebringer to get hers, and when she got killed, it felt so satisfying. The build up to the grand finale was perfect. She had Earth in a death grip for a year, and Reformers, Marines, Phoenix team. Everyone had to scratch and claw for their freedom. Lifebringer's death didn't come without consequences though. With her gone, now it's up to the Spartan 5s to deal with the anomaly, but I'm fine with that. I like Silva and Scott a lot. They're the best soldiers in that group and it's going to be interesting to see them lead. With the Spartan 5s taking over, this also wraps up Zack's story, and it was fun to witness his journey. I'm just glad he survived. When Lifebringer took back control of the Spartans, that was a whole oh shit moment. It was so unexpected. It was a crazy situation, and when Lifebringer shot him, I knew that wasn't the end there, but I was expecting him to die from his injuries, but that didn't happen. Logan's death still hits hard, but his death propelled Zack into becoming a true leader on the battlefield and in the conference rooms. It's been a hell of a ride, guys. I hope you enjoyed going through this part of the Spartan Legacy with me, and I can't wait until the next installment. Feel free to leave a like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
DDDJ Son of Freak.